everyone. Welcome back to the Wild Thoughts podcast. Today, we're going to get into our career episodes again. So, we're going to start with what working in an office is really like.
Tea.
Now that we're two working gals, we can kind of share what we've been through this past year or 2 years, our experience, what it was like before COVID, what it is now, and all that jazz. Yes. So, let's just get into it.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
Let's dive deep into it.
Okay, so we're first going to start with what the experience was before COVID. So, Afi had more of our like retail job
not really
experience.
office-y,
Yeah, and I had internships that were office jobs. So, honestly, I don't have much to say about it because like at that point, I feel like we weren't really thinking about it because it was kind of like an expected thing to do if you worked an office job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
think you are idealizing, like not romanticizing, but you don't know what it's gonna be like. Everyone talks about it. It's like, ooh, we all wanted to be like the adult working girl, so.
But I think it was also like you didn't put as much thought into it as you did now because obviously COVID drastically changed the work environment, right?
Yeah, for sure, no.
So all my notes were like, I was working 9 to 5, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Hated it. Wait,
you hated like what you were doing?
No, I hated going to the office.
Even before. Even not knowing that you could work hybrid, you didn't like it.
It was so
exhausting.
Draining.
Yeah.
And
so you were tired then.
Yeah, 100%. Well, it also probably was. Okay, so I had two different types of internships. I had my accounting one, which like 100% hated my life. Then I had my marketing internship.
Yeah.
But even going to the marketing internship, even though I enjoyed what I was doing, I don't know how the hell we woke up every day. And especially then, I wasn't driving. I had to take the bus for an hour and a half. Yeah. So I was waking up at like between 5 a.m. and 5:30 a.m. Had to go to work. Like, how... People still do that now.
So I know. Knowing that you could work from home.
Well, some people can't.
Have to. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't know how I would be able to do it now.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so privileged that I can work from home some days because, like, if not, I don't know how I would function.
I know. That's why I was asking you if you, like, realized before COVID that you were tired or not. Because at that point, you didn't have a comparison in that moment. But now you can compare.
Exactly. I think I didn't realize it was because of the job, per se. It was more, I was like, oh, I'm waking up so early and then I have to work until 5 and then I have to leave and it takes me an hour and a half to get home and then the bus is draining, blah, blah, blah. All of those are, of course, factors.
Yeah.
But also just doing a job.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to do all of that.
Being like on it from 9 to 5 and at the office and present. Whoa.
I know.
What a life that
I don't know how. Even I was thinking super random, but like I've been thinking about this for the last few days. Like, how did we wake up so early for high school or like elementary school? Like, how? Because I'm tired now waking up for like 9 a.m. and high school is a little bit earlier and it's like for like 5. Well, work life is for whatever, as many years, but like we were so young then. I feel like it's a lot to ask 13-year-olds to wake up.
Well, it's because they're trying to prep you for the
I
job
know, but it's so intense. Right? Like, let me just... I'm still not used to it.
I know.
Like, let me just get used to it.
But at least we finished at like 3 p.m. in high school.
Kathy, you freaking wake up at 7 a.m. on the weekend, so shut up.
Okay.
My
opinion is invalid.
No, I'm kidding.
I will say, though, like, even though it was super draining, I was able to do it.
Yeah,
and like,
exactly.
But I don't know if it's just because my body didn't give up on me. You know what I mean? I was just like continuously doing, even though
your body was used to it in a way.
I guess.
Because like, I think COVID...
You're like training yourself to do it.
Like COVID adjusted our way of living in a way and we weren't as used to it anymore because we weren't go, right? Exactly. It's crazy how much it really changed. I'm sure we could do it again. Like, it's just a matter of habit and it's obviously ingrained in us because we've done it like when we were young, then you worked before COVID happened and all of that. But it doesn't seem like it was the healthiest to have. I mean, it's just a lot to juggle. I feel like having to go to the office and more pressure, and it is exhausting to travel and all that. It's takes a lot of time to travel
100%.
back and
I think
forth.
it's what you said, where it's just like it was a different way of living.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly.
we were so used to it, so we didn't question it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
so.
they should include the traveling in our work hours. Just saying.
Period.
I mean, that would be great.
Took me over an hour to drive to work, not even take the bus.
Traffic, man.
Yeah. Anyways.
No.
I will say, though, because you're at the office 24/7, basically, you build bonds easily with your coworkers. So that's kind of the plus there, because then you can work together more easily. And it kind of like, it took more time, I find, working with coworkers during COVID/hybrid system to actually build a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the only thing that kind of changed there.
Yeah. I feel like we socialized still during COVID, but
it felt
we
superficial.
were more pushed to do. I feel like at some point, because we weren't used to talking to people constantly, we almost didn't like I get more tired, like easily tired now if I need to social, even though like we're social people and like we need socializing just as human beings, but it doesn't feel like I can keep up with it as much. Yeah.
I think it also depends like where you're at in your job. Like I feel like you're fairly new too, so like talking to coworkers, obviously I feel like you have to think more about what you have to say. Like now I'm 2 years in on my job. I feel like I have a good relationship with my coworkers, so it's kind of easier to talk to. But during my first year, I felt like I didn't know how to talk to anyone. Especially
like coming back after.
Especially because I was mostly working from home at the beginning and then going into an office environment.
Because at first it was kind of all remote, right? Because we hadn't really transitioned into, we didn't know how safe.
It only switched last fall. Like, that's how recent it's been.
Thank God, though, because, I mean, it is nice to work from home all the time, but it's nice to have the option to. It's annoying when you're forced to. Because it just feels like you're imprisoned and, like, you can't really have the freedom to do what you want. So.
And I will say, like, once COVID hit and then I had to work from home fully, because we weren't used to it at that point, I could not stay focused. I was like, I was taking out my coloring book. I was coloring during office. Sorry to my old job, but like also I didn't have work to do because I was an intern, so I was like waiting for stuff. But it felt like we didn't know how to slow down. So then we just kind of like tried to fill our time with other stuff, and kind of like it was weird.
I think it's hard. It was hard to create the separation. Doing everything in the same place, same environment, same household, like it was hard to adjust to at the beginning. That's why I like the hybrid system. But I think now I could fully work at home and I'd be okay. Because I've gotten used to like
I have
separating.
Like waves of like some weeks I'm like, oh God, I want to stay home. And then other weeks I'm like, no, I need to socialize. I need to like, see people. Like I can't do this.
For me, I think it's like because I just started though. So it's like a span. I feel like I went through phases too. First I was like, oh, I need to go to the office more. I'm more productive. Then it was like, having like both is good. Like a little bit at the office, a little bit at home. Perfect. Then I was like, I want to fully be at home. I'm fine. Like I know how to differentiate and work properly, because I think it's also when you know you have work to do and that you can't procrastinate on it, you're going to do it.
But it's also a learning curve to like motivate yourself when you're at home.
Exactly.
So now that we did say we were talking before COVID, but we kind of mentioned COVID. So let's just get into experience once COVID hit. So like I was saying before, I felt like it took way longer to build a relationship with my coworkers, especially because I was like 8 months of my job starting out was just working from home. That like you have to make such an effort when you're virtual to like talk to people. And like it's kind of like texting at that point, texting to try to build a relationship, because you have to say like funny things, or like you have to book like virtual coffee chats and just like talk to each other. And it was like, ooh, man, did that take effort?
Yeah, because it's also weird because it's like, oh, you've met them virtually, so you know them, but you've never seen them in person.
Yeah, and I feel like when you work from home, like the only times that you actually talk to your coworkers, if you're not close to them, it's just for work. So like to actually like force yourself to talk about something other than work can feel really weird.
Yeah, like why would you talk about personal life and stuff when you're not in person, when you don't have to necessarily? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it definitely made things more difficult and challenging.
Yeah, exactly. And especially if you're new at your job and you're virtual, like it's so hard to make the effort and like talk to new people.
Yeah, exactly.
And approach them, and like, because also you don't know their vibe, you don't know, like, you don't get the cues that you get in person, so you don't know how they react to your jokes and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird.
So weird.
Yeah. But now we have the hybrid system. I feel like majority of jobs either have a hybrid system, or it's like the two extremes. Either you're work from home strictly, or you're all at work. With the hybrid system, I find working at an office, I don't know if you experience this, but we only have 2 days at the office. Everyone books meetings with me on that day.
Oh.
I am in meetings from 9 to 5 for those 2 days.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I can't really relate. I don't have, so I do go in, I go in twice a week. I don't have full day of meetings, which is really nice, but I'm also like a different position than you, so maybe that's why.
Maybe let's say like what we do kind of like generally, just so they get the vibe.
Oh, okay, yes. So I work in recruitment, so I'm a talent acquisition intern.
Period.
I'm doing an internship, so I do like recruitment for internships from like A to Z. I have like one-on-ones with my boss like twice a week actually. So she'll book me a meeting in person because it's just easier and things like that. But I don't really have meetings like all day with other people. Okay. I did at the beginning more because when I was getting to know different departments, things like that. And sometimes I'll have meeting with like other managers if I'm opening up a new role, because I need to know like what are your expectations to write a job description, etc. Yeah, so I guess maybe it's also based on my role. It just doesn't require, because I'm working on like one recruitment role, I just need to meet with them once. I have touch points to let them know like, oh, like how is recruitment going? Who have we secured, what's going on with the candidates, etc. So I guess that's why it doesn't require me to always have, because it's not really like a project necessarily or anything like that. It's kind of just like a ongoing, because recruitment can go on for like months and months also. So I think
it could be also because you're doing an internship, because I remember in my internships I also didn't have that many meetings. I was kind of just told what to do and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it too, because obviously people who are there longer, they have different projects to do, they're meeting with different people because they have maybe harder tasks to fill also, so it requires them to meet. So it's nice that I don't have to like, but at the beginning I definitely had more meetings, but it was because it was onboarding and things like that. But that is draining. I don't know how you do it, girl.
So I'm in marketing.
I
take care of, like, I'm on the e-commerce team, so I'm kind of the lead for the website and like online promotions and that sort of stuff. So I have to talk to a bunch of different teams, a bunch of members on my team. So I feel like now more than ever I'm in more meetings. And the thing is like I like being in meetings. Like I'm that corporate girl vibe. And like I like fast, it. It goes by fast. But when you're only already 2 days in office, you have to travel to get there. You're waking up even earlier than to get home. It takes an hour to get home. And then you're in meetings from 9 to 5. You can't do your work. So then sometimes you stay a little later to finish something because you're like, I needed to do this.
And when you're at the office, you just want to leave at 5.
Not complaining to any of my coworkers listening to this. I love my job.
Yes, exactly.
Just sharing the experience. But even them, sometimes they're like, you have meetings all day. Like, are you okay? Like, it's intense. And it is draining. I enjoy doing it. I try to move meetings when I can, but like also there is the positive side that like when you're in person in a meeting, I feel like you're building the relationships with these other teams or your other team members. And it's easy to communicate, and there's no like lag on when you're doing a virtual meeting and you're cutting off and people are like kind of awkward still on virtual meetings, I find.
Yeah,
they
kind of like you don't know how to say bye.
Yeah, like I feel like it's just easier to have a meeting in person, and even for like quick chats, if you're in person, your whole team is there and you need to get like a quick update on something, you just like literally look over at the other desk and just start talking.
That's what we exactly.
Like I feel like that's easy, but it is very draining, and then you barely have time to work if they're booking meetings with you on the only 2 days that you're in office.
Can you just like do your work the following day, but then you still have tasks that you should be doing that day too? I get what you're saying. It's
so, like there's some things that you have to finish, then you might have to work later, or like I show up to work early, like half an hour earlier than we not start, because we kind of have flex hours, but like before people usually come in at 9. I get there at 8:30 and I do some work then. Yeah. And then after I have my meetings and stuff.
I will say I do love the hybrid system. I mean, the pandemic was definitely, I think it was a blessing in disguise. Yeah. It's okay. Well, that sounds insensitive because a lot of people died from COVID. So that's not what I mean. Yeah. Obviously, it is very sad. It's like it was a pandemic.
We are also talking like our personal experience because there are like the nurses working. They're like over capacity.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be like insensitive in terms of like, but I think it did bring those who were fortunate enough to like go through COVID and be okay a lot of lessons, and really allowed us to slow down and also take like realize that like you never know what can happen. Yeah. You know, this was like a hopefully once in a lifetime thing, but it might I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think it did bring us in a way some positive out of the bad things that did happen. Just like people took care of their mental health more. And then in terms of work, I think mental health was more prioritized. The hybrid system, you can like, if we had known we could literally work from home, oh my God, that would be like amazing. But I think it's a great system. You can, you save time traveling. You're not super exhausted. And we have that system at our office too. So it's really nice. What else can I say?
The next step should be the 4-day work week.
Oh, my friend and I were talking about this. Like, if we had 3-day weekends,
my coworker,
so many problems would be solved.
No, because we literally like, most of the time we try to get our work done on Thursdays anyways because we don't want to work Fridays. So
I always try that.
Easily take Fridays off.
But for me, it doesn't work. So things pile up.
Well, yeah.
I try to finish early too, but it's like, nope. Like 10 people email me like right when I'm trying to like.
Rough.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's like, but we're such a capitalist society. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, even though Canada is super like advanced, modern, whatever, they love money. And it's like, if we take one day off extra.
But it's also like the way that your work ethic is. Because like, I was also talking about a coworker about this. Like, for example, when I get a Teams chat, I answer people right away. Even if I'm doing something else. Like,
same.
I'm so distracted by them that I'm like, I can't even see the notification pop up. I need to answer, get rid of it.
Exactly. You want to be like reactive.
Yeah, but then I forget what I'm doing. Yeah. And she's like, I notice you answer me right away and I don't expect it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. It's like, you don't need to answer right away, but then there's also that like feeling of like it lingering. Yeah. And you feeling like, you have one more task to do. Yeah. You just want to get it done so that you can continue your next step. But then it takes you like 10 minutes to get back to what you were doing before. Yeah.
Because then I'm like, should I have to remember what I was doing now?
Yeah, exactly. Or if anything, you can like jot it down on a to-do, but it's just easier to get it done, I guess, in a way. But yeah, I guess don't feel pressure to answer right away.
Yeah, I think you should stay focused on the work that you're doing and don't answer right away.
If it's not an emergency, exactly.
Unless they say like urgent.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I will also say last kind of scoop about hybrid system. I feel like work from home life gives you a lot of flexibility to do your own work at your own pace. Yeah. Not to say that you're slacking off, but like people
you don't have that pressure.
Yeah, there's less pressure, and like people work differently, so it's not like if you're taking more time on something that other people can do quicker. Exactly. Like it's not pressuring you to like,
you're not being judged. Exactly. You don't feel like you're being judged as much. Yeah. And exactly like you said, for example, the people who may have social anxiety or like just anxiety, having people watch you or being around a lot of people that are working, maybe that's distracting to you. Maybe just people making noise or something like that. So I think having the flexibility at home has so many benefits, and that's one of them. It's like, because like when you're in a workplace, you don't want to look like you're slacking or not, or taking your time. You want to look like you're on your shit, but that could also be unhealthy. You're not true to how you're feeling, and like maybe you're not feeling well that day. So working from home, you can take it easy, still work, but like not be. And that's tiring. You need breaks, honestly. I try to be like this, and then I'm like, I know. I'm less productive when I'm always on the go, Yeah.
I do also think sometimes, like, again, depending on your work ethic, but like sometimes working from home for me is a distraction, because not that I'm doing my work, but then I'll have this one thought that I'm like, ooh, this would be so cool to do this. I feel you. Especially with my like side projects. And I'm like, oh, now I want to just stop everything look it up, and do this. And then like if I'm watching YouTube on the side and they mention something interesting, I'm like, oh shit, and I start watching. Yeah. I'm not like wasting my time for an hour just watching videos, but like I'll get that distraction very easily.
And you feel more comfortable obviously doing it at home. Yeah. Like same with me. Sometimes I'll just think of like, oh wait, I wanted to order this thing on Amazon, and I'll go like type. I'm like, oh shit, Afi, don't do that, because then you're gonna be on like in a black hole looking at things. Or sometimes I'll just open YouTube up for like put music in the background, and then I'm like, oh, there's videos that pop up on my thing, and I'm like, that. I'm like, oh wait, no, you're working.
No, exactly. Like, or I'll get like a sale email, and I'm like, oh, I have to go see what they have right now, and it's like 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. Like,
yeah, and then like sometimes it's only like 15 minutes, but then. That I could have taken to answer my emails, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a big deal, obviously, but it just like, if you do it once within your day, you tend to do it more.
Yeah. But I will say, you get distracted when you work from home, but you also get distracted at work.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I find when I'm at work, I get distracted because all of a sudden I want to be social. I want to just talk to my coworkers. I randomly say shit. I bring up something funny that I see on my screen. Like I'm bothering them. I'm just like, I'm like calling out my coworkers like to ask them stupid questions that I could easily type, but I'm like, I need to say it out loud because I'm here.
No,
so it's like, I feel like that's what starts to get distracting too. Because then again, like if someone says something verbally to me while I'm at the office, I want to solve their problem right away. Yeah. So I stop my work and I'm like, okay, let me do that. You know? So that can also be like kind of hard to juggle, but I feel like that's like always the case when you work in an office.
Yeah.
It's not something new per se.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like bad, but I guess it makes you feel like you doing your side thing on YouTube at home makes you feel more guilty about it. And sometimes then like you talk, but same thing today, like my coworker, because usually I'm alone with like my manager, and today on Wednesdays my one coworker will sometimes come. No, actually 2 of my coworkers were here today, and she was like next to me, and I was like, hi. Like I was just like, hi, like a couple of times, like, hi, what are you doing? Like we'll ask each other, or sometimes we'll go on the rooftop and just like take a break, you know, but that's like 15-20 minutes, you know? So it's like, okay, that's fine, you're doing that anyways. And sometimes we have like these team meetings where it's basically not really a meeting, because we're headhunting. We have to headhunt for candidates. So, and we focus on one specific position. So we all just open up our LinkedIns and we start headhunting in one room together. But then, because, you know, it's like awkward to be silent when you're all so like someone will bring up a topic and we'll start talking about something random. Yeah. Like sometimes, and it's like, instead of doing 1 hour of headhunting, we really did like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
30
always, that always happens. And then even if you're sitting next to each other and you're sitting next to other teams, like you can listen to their conversations. Yeah. Like, because some people talk so loud.
Yeah, exactly.
I will literally freeze what I'm doing to listen to their conversation.
Same. I'll be like, and sometimes I don't realize I'm doing it. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. And then sometimes I'll like answer their questions. If they're saying, because like obviously it's also super awkward sometimes. Like I have a coordinator, so sometimes I have to have my one-on-ones like at our desk when we're next to the entire team. So sometimes I have to mention other team members and they're literally sitting right next to us. So it's like super awkward. So, and people are obviously going to listen if they hear their names. Exactly. Yeah. So it's very easy to get distracted at work, I find.
Yeah, exactly. I think honestly, overall, I feel like in a way, almost going to the office, it's not for a show, like to show, but it's like almost a show that you're working. And like sometimes at home, I think for me, I can probably be more productive at home most of the time. Yeah. But I feel like going to the office is also to like show. Yeah. But I think at this point, if you're in a hybrid system, it feels like going to the office is literally just to build relationships. Yes, exactly. It's not like it's not to really work. But it's like you can do that at home. You know what I mean? But people don't get mad anymore if you're like talking about random shit. You know how like old bosses back in the day would be like, okay, you guys doing your work? Like, yeah, exactly. Now it's like people are because just, you don't even see each other. Exactly. They would, even my boss would rather socialize sometimes. Yeah, like we're in a meeting and she'll bring up something random because we're still trying to build a relationship because we only really see each other twice a week. Yeah, exactly. Right? Whereas before you were seeing each other like 5 times a week. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like there's a pro and con to like every type of working environment. Yeah. So like going to the office, obviously it's more beneficial because you can actually socialize, but then at your own like risk, basically. Yeah, exactly. Because then if you're just talking, like it's not necessarily leading to productivity. Depends on what you're doing, but it's relationship management, right? Like your coworker relationship management, and like in the long term, it makes it more enjoyable, let's say. Because obviously being deprived from the human contact isn't good either, you know? Like fully, like if I was always at home, maybe I wouldn't be as productive as I think I would be.
Yeah.
But now, because now I'm doing both, so I'm like, oh no, like I'm good at working at home balanced. 3 days.
Yeah. Now I just have kind of like general work experience that I just thought of.
Yeah.
So first, I like that I can actually get up, get dressed in something cute. And especially like I work at a fashion company now, so people like show off.
Yeah,
sometimes. So
like
sometimes I don't put effort into my outfit. I'm just like, okay, screw it. I'm like too tired for this.
Yeah.
But sometimes if I am feeling my outfit and I strut into my workplace, wow, the confidence that I feel.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And even like if you work somewhere that it's like not like super businessy that you have to dress, and it's more like business casual.
Yeah.
Like it feels like the world is your runway, and like you have so much creative freedom to wear an outfit that you feel comfortable in and confident in. It's just like, that's a bonus for me.
Yeah.
But it also depends where you're working.
Exactly. 100%. Well, I think, it depends exactly, because there's more traditional workplaces where it's really like,
but
more
even the
strict.
traditional ones, I feel like you can
it's
kind of
put it,
you can put something together that would still look super cute.
And sometimes you like dressing up like the corporate business lady and super, Even for me, like, I was like, ooh, I could wear like professional clothes now.
Yeah.
And you're more like motivated to, you get excited because it's like out of what you would usually be wearing. Like, it's more professional and it's like different. And you can, exactly. It's not sweats. You can change it up. You can wear things that were in your closet that you weren't using before, So, that's definitely fun. And also because if you're not going into the office every day, it's nice because you don't feel like you're running out of options. Mm-hmm. So it's like a good balance.
It's nice, but sometimes you forget what you wore the last week.
Oh.
And then you're
I mean, I've repeated a bunch of my outfits.
I know, it's so funny.
I say that, but I'm like lazy in the morning and I'm like, okay, let me just throw something on. You know? I wear like the same two pants.
No, honestly, I had like 2 weeks of me planning outfits, and then I was like, oh, okay, I can't do this anymore. That's exhausting.
I can't, But it is very fun. Like, and just to like, sometimes do your makeup. Because also we weren't going out as much. Exactly. Because of the pandemic and all that, so it was like kind of the one time to like
it's an excuse
do
to dress
stuff.
up.
Yeah, obviously now it's different. Like we got to go out more and stuff, but sometimes you didn't feel like going out, but because you have to go to work, you would like put in the effort and stuff. Yeah. Okay, mine is kind of in relation to like what we were talking about, like exhaustion, which I guess is in relation to everything, because exhaustion is all the time. But I was kind of comparing it like office job to what I was doing before, which is like more retail, and I was more like, I wasn't on a computer, but I was more like physically standing, whatever. I was physically I was very exhausted. Like my feet would hurt, my legs would hurt. I think now you can still be like, obviously everyone's different in their body, but this is how I felt. Now I'm more like mentally exhausted, but that can also lead to physical if like, I'm going to work often and like I can still be tired physically, but when I was working like at Foot Locker or whatever, I was really like my brain wasn't exhausted sometimes from talking to clients, but like it was really like physical.
You're on your
like
feet all day.
Yeah, like my back hurt, like my legs hurt, my feet hurt, like I think my feet at one point you get so used to it, your feet are numb and like you don't even realize it because you're like on your feet all day. But that's what I realized, and I think pros and cons for each, right? I mean, being exhausted is not fun. I mean, it could make you feel like, oh, you've done a lot of stuff, but it's not always fun, obviously, to physically or... So one isn't better than the other, I would say, but it's just the difference that I feel. It's like you're on your computer all day, so that's really draining for your eyes. Yeah. And like, now that I think of it, it's like so crazy how long we have to stare at a screen. Like, I don't think that's good for us. And sitting in the
same position.
Yeah, like we need to do some stretches.
Yeah, like you gotta book like every 30 minutes, set an alarm so that you get up and just stretch your legs.
Yeah, I find now I have more headaches though. Like if I didn't,
because you're staring at a screen.
Yeah, like
do you have your blue light glasses?
No, I don't. But yeah, so I feel like water and you need to eat properly and like all of that. I would get headaches, I mean, when I was working retail too, but I wasn't staring at a screen is very, very different, so. Yeah.
Okay, we kind of touched on this before, but like when you're at the office, there is a pressure that you feel sometimes that you have to work. Mm-hmm. But even when you're working from home, I feel like the difference is when you're at work, you can stop your work at 5 because you need to physically commute back to your house.
Yeah, true.
So your work ends.
Yeah.
When you're at home, your work continues. If you're doing something, I feel like
a
lot of people just want to finish it. So they'll work until like dinner basically, because they're just like, okay, I want to finish this. And even after dinner, sometimes if they feel stressed and they're like, well, I have my computer here anyways, I might as well work. Yeah. But like when I'm at work, like technically I take home my laptop. Yeah. But as soon as like I leave my workplace, I'm like not touching anything. I'm like, my work
because you have that separation also.
Exactly.
So it doesn't make you. But that's the thing. I feel like sometimes we may tend to work more at home because we're comparing to like, oh, the day before I was at the office and technically I got home at 6. So today I'm already home. I can work till 6. You know.
Yeah. Well, I've never made that, but
comparison.
Yeah. Okay. It's more like I'm already at my computer, and it's like I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to change out of my clothes. Like nothing. Yeah. There's no like steps to me to actually relax once I stop my work.
Turn it on and off. Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like, okay, I'll just finish it. Once I'm finished, then I can just go to the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you're actually commuting to get home and then you have to take off your makeup, you have to change out your clothes.
You're going through the actions of like finishing
exactly.
work. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, it's more final, I find. Yeah. And it helps you with the work-life balance.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I think I was like that too more at the beginning of my internship where I was like, because I'm trying to prove myself still, you know? So I would be like trying to work longer and even at home because I'm like, oh, I need to finish this. And now it's kind of a mix in between. Sometimes I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm closing my laptop. Sometimes I really want to close at 5, but because I'm home, I'm like, no, like I'm never really done at 5. I always have like at least 15 or 30 minutes more. So I'm like doing something. Yeah, I feel like now there's a balance. At first, I was like, okay, I'm going to work like a couple hours extra. And it was like really a bit going overboard because I was like, I wasn't understanding the process of like, wait, if you don't finish something, you can just like continue it tomorrow. Yeah. Not everyone finishes everything within the same day. If you don't have enough time, it's normal. So then I learned that. But then I was like, okay, at 5 I'm done, I'm not touching. And then I was like, okay, wait, sometimes I can't be done exactly at 5 because I need like one thing I need to do and it's like appropriate, like it makes sense. So now I'm like in between a balance, but I really try to finish at like even when I'm home, because it's like when I'm home I'm like, oh, I have extra hours. Well, I don't want to use them for work. Exactly. That's the point of being able to work from home, is that I don't need to commute anywhere and I can just be home, you know? Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely tough, but I understand that it's hard to like separate because after like, you can sometimes, that's the thing. I'll be like, oh wait, I forgot to book a room for my meeting tomorrow. Go on my laptop, like, I forgot to answer this person. I forgot to Slack.
You know how many times I remember and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't actually publish the promo. And
I have to like in the middle, and I'm like,
at like 10 p.m.
Shit. Yeah, that's the worst.
Honestly, but that's also a benefit because at least like you're not screwed for like whatever you had to do because you can get it done. But it's hard to do that separation. Like I put in my work goals that I always want to be done between 5 and 5:30 work. Obviously, working at the office, I also carpool. So I'm always waiting for someone to pick me up. Yeah. So I kind of just work late because of that also. Yeah,
because you're like, oh, why not?
Yeah, but when I'm working from home, I'm usually like, now in my 2 years at this job, I'm pretty good at like stopping myself from like continuing work. Because even like the culture in my team is very like, put yourself
healthy
first.
Work,
it's like healthy work environment. Put yourself first. Like, there's never any rush unless there was like a hard deadline that I need to catch up on. Yeah. Because like everything can be done the next day. Yeah. Like even like I was unsure if like this week I took Monday off. Yeah. And I was talking to my boss and I didn't know if I actually should take it off because I had a to-do list. Yeah. But we went through my to-do list and she's like, none of this is urgent enough for you to not take the day off.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I think it's like by that, like when you're further into your position or role, you kind of know what you can slack on or continue and what you really where to have push the limit. Yeah, exactly. And if anything, if you kind of set yourself up so that you can finish at 5, like if you know this needs to be done tomorrow, you do it at the beginning of your day if you can, you know? Yeah, exactly. So that way you're not like, oh shit, I need to work on this and it's already 4:30, you know what I mean? So I think it's just really learning like how to manage things. And I think that's what work, like office jobs are like. It's something you may not realize before. Yeah. But once you do, you're like, oh, okay, I just need to play around with my schedule a bit and put myself in the best position to finish as early as possible.
Yeah, 100%.
You're more tough on yourself at the beginning because you're trying to improve yourself, you know?
Also, like, when you're working virtually, you can see when people are still online. So, like, technically, sometimes, but, like, I feel like Teams glitches a lot because sometimes it'll say I'm, like, away from my computer when I'm literally typing.
On your computer,
So, don't trust that,
I don't take it seriously anymore. I'm like, yo, you can stay until 6.
I used to, like, if a few people were still working,
you're like,
I used to stay on my computer.
Yeah.
And I used to, like,
make sure, like, let's not check. Like, I still do that sometimes. I'm like, oh, what does this person do?
I don't know why it's like pressure. It's like, but no one cares. No one's looking at that.
That's the thing. It's like, yes, there's the pressure physically when you're in person because people can see you. But now it's like people can virtually see you with the stupid green light or whatever. So there's still that pressure. And even like, because you don't want to look like you're not working and you're at home and you don't want to look like you're taking advantage of it, you're going to answer your manager right away. You're going to answer everyone. You're going to like, oh my God, did someone ping me? Oh my God, did someone... Whereas when you're at the office, you're like, oh, well, I'm here. You know I'm here. So I don't need to answer you right away. So it's very like wishy-washy, guys. Like you just have to figure out like a balance and not to let it get to your head, I think.
Yeah.
Just don't care what... You know you're doing your work. You're getting your tasks, your goals done. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Because some people can literally be online all day and be unproductive, you know?
So I will say, kind of bouncing off of what we're talking about for like at the office, people don't expect you to answer right away because you're doing stuff, or like, let's say you're verbally talking to people.
Yeah.
So kind of bouncing off of that, I feel like a huge positive part of my time going to the office is my coworkers, especially when you have that good relationship with them, because you can go for coffee with them, have a little 15-minute chat, you can go for lunch together, and then you're like kind of building that bond. And then also like if something goes wrong in a meeting or like you're getting annoyed about something, like they're right there. You can just vent to them and they know what you're going through.
Yeah, because they're so fun.
Exactly, because they're they are related in the situation.
Yeah, it's not the same as slacking
exactly
them.
Yeah. And like again, verbal and physical cues, like they help build that bond, right? Exactly. So I feel like it's way more fun to actually like socialize in person because of that. And kind of like, I don't know, I just feel like every time I have to say something and when people get excited, like if it's gossip, it fuels me. Yeah. I'm like, okay. Let's go. Tell me.
Even me, sometimes I'm going to keep this for Wednesday when I see you guys in person. I'm going to tell you, Also, something that I thought of is like, I think going in person is nice because we sometimes misinterpret what our coworkers are saying through Slack or text or message 100%. Or even your manager. Like, you know, if you're taking something personally or you think your manager conveyed something, when you see them in person, you're like, oh, they're not mad at me. They just were trying to say this, you know?
And especially like people have, like, it's the same thing like texting. People have different texting habits. Exactly. And like the way they message sometimes, like I have a couple of coworkers that like the way they message is very short. Yeah. And I feel like,
and that's maybe not how you do it. Yeah. Exactly. So you're like,
I'm the one adding exclamations and smileys everywhere. Yeah. I'm not angry.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. Some pros that I want to mention: free coffee and snacks. Sometimes.
I never get free coffee. I have to pay for coffee.
At work?
Yeah.
You don't have a coffee machine?
No, they only have that at small companies.
Okay, sorry. It's okay. I mean,
like, okay, sorry.
Look, you got the budget, so it's okay. They have to make up for this somehow.
On my small internship, I did not have to pay for coffee.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it really depends. Like, yeah, it does depend, obviously, but it's okay. It's fine. But anyways, I think it depends what company you're at. But like, sometimes you'll have like sometimes corporate events, which can be fun. Like, if you have big Christmas. Like, you don't get that in retail, like true. Big Christmas, not all the time. Well, one thing that I think is cool about that I think is like important to mention is that you get to meet new people, network, discover different industries because there's so many different departments. And coming out of school, it's like you don't learn all of that. You barely know. I feel like I'm learning about positions now. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Maybe that's something I would like. And you discover just like professional life and you network in a way, you know, like just through your job and also your coworkers and the different departments. So I think that's something really cool about just working in an office. I mean, you can network anywhere, but just
it's easier.
Exactly. In person. Yeah. And then I feel like you learn any job, but I think it's good to mention, like, you go through a lot of self-development because you learn what you like, what you don't. You learn how to take feedback. I feel like that's a really good skill to develop. And your confidence increases because, like, you're finally putting, like, your skills to practice. Mm-hmm. So you can see, like, concrete results and things like that, and you just are developing your skills.
Okay, so now we're going to kind of get into some tips that you can apply when you're working at the office. So my first tip is to take your paid time off. Like we just said, working can be exhausting, okay? And I feel like we don't give the credit to ourselves that we deserve, that we work our asses off sometimes, and sometimes for jobs that don't even deserve it.
Sometimes, girl, all the time. Come on.
Yeah. So I think like, especially, this is advice to myself because I forget that I have paid time off and I don't take it because I feel like I'm gonna stress with the amount of work that I have. But like I was saying before, like even my boss encouraged me to take a day off because like you can't be go all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And no one wants you functioning at like 50%.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you need to recharge, you need to take the day off and like take advantage that it's paid.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I mean, I'm doing an internship and I had 5 days off. I've only taken 3 because it's accumulated days and I don't have the rest accumulated, so I took the max. But I was scared at first, you know, because it's like, I'm an intern. I don't know if I'm allowed, but
100%.
You have 5 days. Why? They literally are telling you you're allowed.
Yeah.
And yes, sometimes maybe people can judge you because they're like, oh, you're just beginning. You're not. It's like there, but you're not supposed to take them. No.
No one cares.
Nobody cares.
Everyone
You're not
understands.
going to lose your job.
Yeah.
You need it. Take them. Like Kathy said, they're there. So take them. For me, I guess it's organization. I think Kathy had mentioned this also, but like a time block on your calendars to make sure you have time to do what you have to complete. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't block it out, then people might schedule things with you. They may think you're free all the time, you know, and also allows your manager to kind of see like, okay, you have your things together, you're doing stuff. Yeah. But then they might also check up. So make sure you're actually like doing what you have to do.
So bouncing off of that, also like have a planner or some sort of organization system for you to keep track, especially if you're more developed in your role, you're going to be getting more projects to handle and more projects to like work on. So make sure you have some sort of system that can keep you on track. And also a good tip that my team follows is like we block off Friday afternoons to catch up on emails, make sure we answered everything, we've done all our work, and make sure we're ready for the week ahead. So that could be a good thing. That's like a rule in our team that like
planning
it's
for the next
only
week.
Like if something is urgent that we'll have a meeting in the afternoon. If not, no meetings.
Friday afternoon should be like chill,
Exactly.
Prepare for the next week because you don't want to be stuck doing. Nobody wants to work after 5 on a Friday, guys. For me too, I was gonna say my coworker gave me this advice, but like see what your like top 3-ish priorities are for the week and then do your task accordingly to be able to accomplish. Because let's say you have like 5 things going on, but the top 2 or 3 are priority, then obviously work on that.
So if you guys want to do that, let me plug myself here. I have a planner. I think it's the Alberto Daily Planner that I created that I have 3 spots. So one is a must get done, one is to do tomorrow, and one is one is a must get done, one is if I have time, and then the last one is to do tomorrow.
Exactly.
So you can have, buy the planner if you want, but like if you don't want to buy it, even though it's like $2, but anyways, if you don't want to buy it, you can literally just follow that system to be like, okay, these are my 3 priorities, and then exactly what Afi said, my other tasks are going to be here. If I have time to do them, I can do them and fill it that way. Blah blah blah.
Exactly. And sometimes like this also helps me to break things down. Is like within a day, what are your priorities? Obviously it sounds very like micro now, but it does help because for me too, because it's just easy to follow. You do these steps, you're like, okay, my top 3 goals are done for the week, you know?
Especially if you have like 20 things to do within the week, like you can't just have a list, a running list.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to prioritize
because you're like, oh, which one do I do first? And then you're like, you're doing the wrong thing first. Yeah.
I also said have coffee chats with coworkers. It should be your immediate team, but like also cross-functional teams. Try to like befriend them, build relationships with them, because exactly like you were saying before, it's networking. If ever you're interested in their team, like at least you have like a friend already. And also like they will be more willing to be more supportive if something goes wrong that affects you, but they're also involved in, they can help you out. And like, you know what? Get friendly with the IT team, guys, okay? Because shit goes wrong at work, okay?
I said, like, check your emails every morning. Don't let them pile up. I feel like that's important because it gets messy. And at one point, for me, at the beginning when I was onboarding, emails were not that important because nobody was like, I wasn't doing recruitment. I was just doing like two, three tasks that didn't involve really anyone else. But now when people are contacting you, when you're in charge of things, you're gonna want your email cleaned. Yeah. Create labels.
No. Oh my God. Yes. Folders.
Yeah.
Guys,
yeah.
folders.
You need them folders
rules.
and drag them or make them automatic, whatever you want. But keep your email clean.
Yes, please. Because like I took one day off. Like I said, I have like 50 unread emails and I'm stressed.
Yeah, exactly.
I am so
But
stressed.
you'll get through those like.
No, I know. But like, oof. That's why block your time on Friday. Check your emails. Yeah. My last tip is basically like, set up a routine that works for you. I feel like a lot of companies now are offering flex hours plus core hours. Like, does that make sense? So basically, like at our job, we have to be available to work, I think between 10 and 4. Oh. Or like then 9 and 4, something like that. But then so like
common hours.
Yeah. So at least like cross-functionally, people can reach out to you and like you can work together. Yeah. But like the other times, like I work better in the morning, so I'll get to work at 8:30 to start my work then. Yeah. And like if I had my own car, I could easily leave early. Like my boss wouldn't care because at least like you did your hours, you're good, and that's it. So like if you have flex hours, use them to your advantage. Yeah. If you work better when you work better, exactly. Show up to work a little later or earlier depending on how you work. So
nice. Okay, so we shall dive into the question of the week. Yes. Okay, so the question of the week was, what are office jobs really like from your experience? So let's see what everyone said. Okay. Can be fun to see your friends and chill.
I'm dead. You know who you are.
I love that. That is hilarious. And okay, then the same person said, in my opinion, I tend to get a lot of work done at the office because of the pressure.
Okay. Exactly what we were saying. Yeah.
Very true. And then someone else said, it is really a 1-versus-1 job. It really tests your discipline and your ability to focus.
Okay. That's interesting. I wonder what they do.
Okay, cool.
Do we know them?
Yes, I know them.
Okay. Do we know
they're
what
in accounting.
Okay. Yeah, that is 1-on-1.
1-versus-1 job. Or maybe they meant like it's case by case.
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like the way they said it was very isolating. Like you do you're autonomous. You do your stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Which it is in a way. Yeah, depends. 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 Yeah. And the same person said, when you really like your job, time will fly, but when you don't, days will be so long.
Very true. Also depends on your workload, because if you have less to do, then the days are dragging. Right.
Oh, actually, like speaking about that, I mean, compared to retail, because you're a customer service, it was long. Like when you're so used to it, but now I feel like working in an office for me goes by much faster comparison to retail.
I don't know if it's also like, not to say it like our age.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, I don't know, like as you grow older, you know how people say like time passes by fast? Like how the fuck is it already November?
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, but that's like, even my parents say that, you know? I don't know.
I know.
But yeah,
in a way. Because you have an office
your younger days go by.
Yeah, your office job, you're like working 9 to 5. Like that's your routine.
Exactly, yeah.
Beforehand, if like at school we had like sporadic classes, we had longer breaks, like it felt slower because we had more time.
Oh yeah, and we're like younger. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's weird, but I do feel like personally for me, like it does relatively go by fast. Someone said current experience draining plus depressing, working like a zombie 8+ hours, not knowing perp. What does that mean?
Not learning what?
Not knowing perp.
I don't know what that means.
Can someone clarify?
You need to get out of that job. That's what that means.
Not knowing perp. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, bless your soul. We hope that you're doing okay. You got this.
Quit.
Please don't stay in this draining job. Okay, someone wrote, LOL.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But that's a relatable.
Yeah. Felt.
Then the last person said, sometimes it's challenging and rewarding. Other times it's boring overall. Not too bad.
You know
I love the review. Overall, not too bad.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I feel like I relate to that because exactly what I said. Like sometimes your workload is not going to be dramatic.
Yeah.
And like you'll have like down weeks and then those down weeks are super slow and kind of like, okay.
I hate when it's too hectic though. I don't like it.
So yeah, same. but I feel like I thrive. I'm like, okay, let's get this shit done. True. But I'm also
like
exhausted after.
Yeah, at the end.
Anyways, before we go down the rabbit hole, let's just like wrap this up.
Okay, everybody, that's the end of the episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more office or corporate or work type of career episodes, let us know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave us feedback if you like. Anywhere you can reach out to us on socials or... socials.
Period. Socials, we're not giving you our number.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget to follow us on our social media. It's at Wild Thoughts Pod. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. And we're on all the podcast platforms, Google, YouTube, all of them.
Yeah.
And don't forget to follow. And we'll see you guys at the next episode.
Right. Bye.